Wake the kids, phone the neighbors. It is time for the podcast. My name is Pierre Hulsebus, and welcome to the Technical Seller Podcast. That is me, Pierre Hulsebus, the leader, the inventor, Tech Sales 110, and the Technical Seller Podcast. Bum, bum, bum. All right, I'm excited for today. I hope you're doing great today. We are ready to embark on a couple great ideas today. Two hacks for us today, which is email automation and customer segmentation. You couldn't have two more powerful and impactful sales hacks. So we're going to talk about those today. As we gather this afternoon or this evening, whenever, or this morning, depending on what time zone you are in. I looked at analytics recently. We have people all over the world that tune into this particular podcast. And thank you if you're a customer listening to this. I am here to help you identify, acquire, and retain the most valuable asset your business can ever have, which is customers. That's right, customers. A lot of people think it's the product. It's not the product, it's the customers. You don't have customers, you know what you have? You're just surrounded by a club of grumpy people. That's called a company. Without a customer, you're just not going to be around very long. That's going to happen. People are, cash is king, and that's why. So, everybody complains, hey, numbers are low. Why are the numbers low? We don't have any customers, right? Ever walk into a store when there's no customers in there? I've been working at a store when customers, like on a Tuesday afternoon, nobody's coming in the store. It's like the most boring job ever. You're vacuuming the floor and you're, dusting the electronics and stuff like that. But you're not helping customers, and that's not a fun situation to be in. And anyway, so today, like I said, we're doing a couple different things. We've got a couple different ideas that we're going to pass by you today. Two sales hacks that we're going to detail for you. One is about personalizing those follow-ups and how we want to manage follow-ups. That is one of the hardest things to juggle. It's a juggling act. It's the most impactful part of our whole job as sellers, honestly. If you, like me, were in the CRM business for a long time, one of the things that became really evident is that this CRM can be over-implemented. It can be a nanny that's the worst thing. Maybe that's your experience right now, or you've worked in companies where the CRM system, ran the show, and the manager didn't trust you to have any discretion or anything like that, or good judgment. So they forced you to put everything into the CRM system so they could keep tabs on you, just like a nanny. And it's the worst nanny and nag. And if you ever worked in a small company that has a CRM system, it's even worse, let me tell you, because you're not getting a lot of data out of it as a seller if there's not enough data in it from other systems. So I was with Microsoft for many years, about 9 years, and been in the Microsoft CRM channel for a long time. And a lot of studies of productivity were done to find out where salespeople spend their most time. And they spend most of their time, unfortunately, not talking to customers, leveraging CRM data and putting it in. What they end up spending most of their time in the application is in their email system and managing tasks and email follow-ups. And so we're going to talk about that today. How can we automate that? How can we personalize that? And the other part is, how can we prioritize that? Like, who should we be talking to? If you're new in sales, you have, let's say, here's the customer list and here's an order book, and, go run a business and go get us business. And that's all that some companies used to give you, customer lists and an order pad. And you would have to figure out the rest. And so today we have more sophisticated tools than just a customer list and an order pad. We actually have to talk to people through electronic means. And part of that, then we get to learn over time how important that customer is. My printer's printing something out right now. Anyways, well, we're going to have to work with that. Anyways, so that's the exciting couple things that we're going to be talking about today. So with that said, why don't you just sit back and relax and enjoy the time that we have together this afternoon or this evening or morning time, whichever you're at. All right. See you in a sec.
Are you a technical salesperson looking to boost your close rates and master the art of selling in the tech space? Look no further than TechSales110.com. Whether you're new to tech sales or a seasoned pro, TechSales110 offers a full range of resources, from step-by-step strategies to help you identify, acquire, and retain customers, to in-depth classes designed specifically for technical sales. But it's more than just a website, it's a community. Surround yourself with other professionals who share tips, insights, and encouragement as you level up your sales game. Join us today at TechSales110.com. That's TechSales110.com. And take the next step toward crushing your sales goals.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back, everyone, to The Technical Seller. I'm your host, Pierre Hulsebus. If you're into sales or just curious about getting the most out of your client relationships, well, you're in the right spot, because today guess what? We're talking about a strategic sales hack that might give you a little edge. That's right. Now, this one might seem a little counterintuitive, and that is the reason why this one, well, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Putting more focus on the most growable customers. Those are the clients who have potential, but aren't just all in yet. I know what you're thinking. Why not just keep all the energy on our best clients? Follow the money. Well, let's break it down, and you'll see why there's big value in looking beyond your top tier customers. So we're going to think about segmentation in a very simple way. I'm simplifying this today into 4 different categories. Let's talk about customer segments. Imagine dividing your client base or your customer base into 4 basic types. First is your A customers. We all know who the A customers, those are the golden ones, the most valuable ones, the ones who are all in, loyal to your brand. They're like that friend who's at every party, brings a dish, never forgets your birthday. We love those folks, right? Those are the great customers. And then we have our B customers. Now, they're familiar with you, but haven't fully committed. They're casual friends who show up occasionally, but haven't quite made it into the circle of trust or that inner circle. These are the most growable customers in your customer base. We're going to talk more about them today. C customers, those are the lost ones. They've drifted away, maybe even joined the competition. Think of them as friends you had in high school, but haven't seen, those Facebook stalkers out there. We don't talk to them much anymore. They're familiar with us. We're familiar with them. But they've moved on for whatever reason. That's kind of that C customer. We've lost them for some reason. And then D, those are leads. We're just going to put that into a pile and just call that leads. These are prospective customers, people who have discovered your brand. They're acquaintances. They're they require a little nurturing to get invested. And they're just out there. Now, most of you think, let's focus on the loyal, top-tier customers. That's our best one. But here's the twist for growth. Now, so this is what we're talking about. If you're in technology sales, what you're looking for is growing your customer base, growth. It's all about growth and finding those customers that are investing in growth. That's your best type of customer. Hey, we're buying this tech because we're in a growing market. We have more demand for our stuff. They're a growing company. And you want to put your energy into these B-level customers. These are the most growable customers. They're the hidden gems of the sales world. Trust me on this one. Why A-list customers aren't the best? Well, let's dive into the A-level customers. They're loyal as they are. They aren't your best source for growth. Sure, they're valuable. Of course, they fully integrated your product. They love your brand, but they're not going anywhere. But they've already invested, meaning there's not much more to uncover in terms of new revenue there. I know it sounds odd, right? Doesn't it? Imagine trying to convince your friend who's been a lifelong pizza lover to try more pizza. They're already sold. You don't have to sell them anymore. So many customers that have a technology-based system that require maintenance or ongoing kind of support, those types of customers, we nurture them over time. We typically would transition our relationship over to a customer relationship manager, somebody who kind of meets with the customer on an ongoing basis, looks at challenges maybe they may have, brings in the sales team if there's a major opportunity there, but they're focused on retaining the customer, listening, creating opportunities maybe for engineering and marketing to increase the value of the customer by having them become testimonials, helping elevate that customer's brand by featuring their solutions and their products as a partnership with you. Like there's ways to grow those relationships, but as a salesperson on a commission with a quota, these types of customers typically are not the best. And if you're a sales manager, now listen to, all the sellers, you turn your ears off for a minute because I'm going to give some advice to a sales manager. You got to get your sellers out of these customers because what happens is we become kind of, let's say, lazy. Might be, let's just call it what it is. We get a little comfortable. And as sellers, we built an annuity. We've created this customer relationship. And now this customer is an A-level customer. It's my customer, and I get something off the top every month. Well, not like we're running the mafia here, but we get a little taste of the benefit of that customer every month. Now that might be great, but as a sales director or as a sales manager, I want my sellers out there growing, getting new customers. I want to increase the revenue base of the customer. So what I have to come up with is a strategy to satisfy both of those needs. And we can talk about that later, but that's why I want to bring this to the awareness of sales managers, because a lot of times when we look at activities of companies, and when I come in and look at revenue by seller, I see the top sellers often are focused on these types of customers, or the mediocre sellers or the bottom sellers. It doesn't matter. We all as sellers, now I'm going to put my seller's hat on. Who doesn't like talking to customers that love you? Who doesn't like that? Like that's easy to do. And that's reassuring about and reaffirming for me personally. But they're already sold and there's not a lot of growth there. So we want to focus on growth here. And we're talking about maybe a relationship maintenance that with these A customers, but they're not going to be growable customers. Now, their goal for referrals and testimonials and network, they're great allies. But if your goal is driving net new revenue, A-list customers are more like trusty cheerleaders than the ones who need a little extra persuasion and a little extra effort. So the untapped potential of these B customers, this is where the fun begins. These are the people who think about you. They've made and maybe tried one of our products. They're not fully committed. Now, picture them as somebody that we're casually dating. They like you enough to go out a few times, but they're not in the meet the parent stage yet, right? They've maybe expressed interest, but you've got to show them why the brand or the product or the solution deserves a bigger place in their life. Right? We gotta wine and dine them a little. There's more work that needs to be done. So it's like a puzzle that just needs the right pieces to fall in place for it to come together. They might hit a snag during an implementation. They may be only using one of our products when they'd really benefit maybe from a broader portfolio of products. By targeting these customers and addressing their needs or challenges, you have a real shot at converting them into those A-level customers. Right? So that's why we want to focus on these types of customers. And if we've got opportunities and we're looking at the opportunity funnel, and if we add, what the customer type, A, B, or C, we'll talk about the C and D customers here in a second. But if we're spending a lot of time with A customers and we have low growth, well, that's probably part of the problem. We're out there, we're having great meetings. We're talking to customers that love our stuff, and they might be adding some new stuff, but they're not adding a lot of new stuff, and they're not going to sign a 10-year contract here, maybe renewal or something like that, but they're not going to buy a lot of new products. That's why the B customers are good. Now, what do we do with the leads that come in? Now, it just really depends on your organization. This is some of the stuff that I've done. Here's a couple different ideas. We've got these D customers that are on the fringes. They haven't tried anything yet. We've met them at a trade show. We haven't formed personal relationships a lot with this. Maybe we bought a list from a trade show or a pool of potential buyers. But let's talk about these leads. These are the cold leads, and that takes a lot of work to get this group motivated. And we've all been there calling down a list of leads from a form or a bought list or something like that. This is a pool of potential buyers, but it's fishing in murky waters. And if you're smart about it, you can make this process productive and fun. Okay, so here's a hack that I call Pizza Friday. It's a team event where the goal is to reach out to as many D leads as possible within a set time frame. Get the whole team involved. The person who books the most calls or turns the most leads into prospects gets some sort of prize, pizza on the house. Make it competitive. It's a little goofy, but it works. It not only builds team morale, but it also lets newer people learn from the pros. And you'd be amazed how motivating free pizza can be. Come on, we all love pizza. Now, so we want to leverage the CRM data that we have to identify and nurture B customers. That's right. So if we get strategic, the data in our CRM system will pinpoint those B customers, ones who've already taken that first step. They've shown interest, maybe even signed on for a single product, but now it's time to build on that. These customers have crossed the line from prospect to client, so the foundation of trust is there already. Now, they're the most growable part of your customer base, as I've said before, and it's the biggest opportunity area for us. So a lot of sales team overlook this segment because they're busy with the A-listers or those cold leads, but B customers have the highest potential for net new revenue because they're already halfway in the door. Of course, as I mentioned, the CRM system will help you identify what they bought and where they might be facing challenges. And we want to use this data to address their specific needs, show them the next steps. And this is where, take this advice, please. And the final tip here for us in this area is think of it like you're running your own business. Too often we go into these conversations overconfident or what we call happy eyes, just assuming that our success will happen. But to grow, you've got to really be intentional. Set a goal and feel a bit out of reach, just a little out of our reach. If it's too easy, it's not big enough. And take time to reflect. Have a check-in with your manager or peer to look at how you're doing with your B customers. Reflection is a real key here to making progress. And so with that said, let's wrap this segment up here pretty real quick. And here's your takeaway. Your A-list customers, they're fantastic. But the real growth is with B customers. We've got the potential to become the most loyal partners that we have with a little extra care. Leverage that CRM, look where they need help, make sure you're showing up, showing them value of your offering. That's it for this segment, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you really soon, right after this.
In a world that's constantly changing, education needs to keep up. Expanding Boundaries International is breaking down barriers and empowering the next generation through the power of STEAM educational programs and cross-cultural experiences. We provide students in Ghana, West Africa, and underserved communities in the U.S. with the tools and opportunities they need to thrive in the 21st century. From robotics and coding to study abroad programs, we're opening doors to a brighter future. But we can't do it alone. Your support can make a real difference. Donate today or become a part of our community of changemakers. Together, let's expand boundaries and build a more equitable world. Visit expandingboundaries.org to learn more and get involved. Expand boundaries, expand possibilities.
Hey everybody, welcome back. How you doing? My name is Pierre Hulsebus, and today, and during this little exercise, we're going to take you on a little bit of journey. Not Journey the band, but a journey through history and the evolution of task management and follow-up strategies for salespeople. That's right. You too can create a great, exciting experience using your tools to help follow up. And that's why the little nostalgia and the lighthearted humor we have today to talk about these practical tips that will help you streamline your sales follow-ups. So let's just dive into it today. Let's rewind to the early 1900s. Imagine that time before emails and CRM systems when follow-ups were managed by tools called the tickler card. Picture this, rows and rows of secretaries, each managing tiny cards detailing important tasks. They're stashed away in what we called in today's vernacular a filing system, an old school filing system. The tickler file became a staple in firms where clerks would slide the cards into folders, and that would organize everything by date so deadlines were not missed. So if you think of a tickler card, you're not alone. It's kind of a funny term, but it's a playful reminder maybe from your grandma. But hey, they got the job done. The best part, they used a system. This is how it worked. They used 43 folders, 31 days for each day of the month, and 12 for each month of the year. So if you had follow-up 3 months from now, you'd count forward 3 folders and pop the card in the right folder. Pretty genius. Then what would happen is that day would come, and there you go. You'd pull it out, and that would be the task that you would need to do. So when we think of today, fast forward to today, we have tools that are light years beyond those tickler cards, like Outlook or Gmail, or many of the automated reminders. And even Microsoft has a Copilot, which is a new system. Outlook alone has so many features that would allow you to schedule follow-ups and set reminders and manage tasks without needing a separate CRM system. A lot of salespeople manage it that way. It's like the tickler's great-grandchild, only just automated and smarter. Now, here's a funny anecdote. A colleague once confessed that he had more faith in his Outlook than his alarm clock. And that's the power of a well-built automation tool in sales. If you're using Outlook, it even starts drafting responses now based on email context. It's like an assistant or a secretary who's already writing your follow-up emails before you even realize you need to send them. And talk about being efficient. That's what we're really working on today. Task management can be chaotic, and coping with automation can be challenging. If you've ever looked at a cluttered task list and thought, there's no way I'm going to get through all of this, well, you're not alone. That's kind of one of the things that's a barrier for many people when they go on the sales productivity journey. They look at all the tasks that they have to do and they just go, it's overwhelming. So managing hundreds of prospects, all in different stages of the sales process, along with closing opportunities and the tasks that go along with that, contracting and demos and technical follow-ups. There's a lot of stages in the sales process, and automation really helps save the day. After an on-site visit, the last thing you want to do is let notes kind of slip through the cracks. With CRM tools and these types of tools, follow-ups and reminders in place, you can instantly keep track of all the requirements and to-dos and where they are in the response. So let's not rely, though, solely on the tech. As we're saying, these things draft up some pretty good and creative and on-point emails for us. But the beauty here is blending automation with kind of that personal touch, setting aside time to review these tasks that have been created or these emails we're reviewing them and approving them and adding a personal touch. You're not just letting the system dictate your day. You're still in control. The real trick is using automation as your sidekick and not your boss. Now, let's just talk about personalizing those emails for a sec. We talked earlier in an earlier blog and podcast, we talked about personalizing email follow-ups and what you can do. And let's talk about that in a little more depth. I think we can all agree that a bland, hey, I'm just checking in, doesn't do a good enough job anymore. One of the smartest moves you can make, of course, is to use your CRM system to personalize every interaction. Not just in terms of the name of the person that's in there or maybe the company name. I mean, that's easy. But it's pulling data from previous conversation, meeting notes, even reminders about specific needs they mentioned. The more personalized you can be, the more impactful your follow-up is going to be. So let's look at this almost like an 80-20 rule. 80% of the content that we have to send out can be automated because they're maybe way down in the funnel and then we don't know them as much. And that's all we have is first name and last name in the company and maybe some demographic or behavioral information about, their industry. But as so we can let the system send those out. We want to check them, of course, but have them send them out. We want to have the system maybe draft more personalized emails on that top 20%, ones that are maybe actively in the sales funnel at a certain stage or at an opportunity level. So if you're leveraging these AI tools, you can automate those responses, but still add that personal touch. It's a blend of automation and efficiency. And it's in the genuine interests that help get prospects to take notice of you. So remember, the art of follow-up isn't about bombarding them, but engaging them thoughtfully. So automation isn't just for those one-off emails. Now, those are helpful, things that are like in response to something, or if we're doing a sales-driven campaign to have a webinar or something like that. CRM can run that entire follow-up sequence based on specific triggers. So the prospect clicks a link, 3 days later, they get a friendly reminder to, register for the webinar, or you checked on it, but you didn't follow through and register. So we're going to call you. And so the system creates a call. But these are highly effective for folks because we're talking to them at the right time. So it's personalization isn't just about getting the name right. It's about the communication being thoughtful at the right time of interaction, information at the right time, the right place, from the right person. And this is where we've seen this pay off all the time, whether it's a single salesperson setting up an automated reminders for leads that are spaced out over weeks. So when we're staying focused on the clients and opportunities, we can put the leads into a lead bucket and a lead campaign and let the lead thing go through and do its thing. And so when that lead is now thinking about, hey, I might need a product to go, and then who are they going to think of? They're thinking of that individual. So it's like a nudge without being overbearing. It's not a number of touches, but it's the value that is behind all of those. So, building relationships through automation is interesting. It's more than just a tool. Ultimately, the CRM systems are incredible for follow-up automations. The secret to success, though, as I said, is how you use them to enhance those human connections. Think of your CRM system as a toolkit to make follow-ups more authentic. Record what matters most from each interaction, whether it's a specific product need or a casual detail the client mentioned. These notes become touch points that make our follow-ups stand out. So whether you're using a tickler card, Outlook, or CRM, remember the golden rule. The real power lies in blending automation with personalization through follow-ups. Use the CRM not just to manage the task, but add depth to those interactions. So questions on this that I will get often is, how do we effectively leverage Outlook and the Copilot and the CRM tools for follow-ups? Now, there's really three core strategies here. One, automate those routine follow-ups. Use Outlook's automation features to set reminders and tasks for routine follow-ups. Copilot is great at drafting responses or reminders based on the context of previous emails, given you're on a head start on a response. So, it gives you that kind of place to start, and also helps you prioritize tasks based on, activity and history, so that we are working on the high-value leads that are always top of mind. And I'm going to talk a little more about that in a second. We want to personalize the email. That's the other part, as we mentioned here early. And then predictive analytics for timing. Those CRM systems that we're talking about are all integrated with something like Outlook or other tools. They can use AI to suggest the best times for follow-up based on historical value and data. They can also ensure that the message lands when the leads are most likely to respond, helping you optimize outreach without as much guesswork. And these insights, help you connect more effectively and imagine managing your time better and building rapport with leads a little more smoothly. Question number 2 that would come up: how do I categorize follow-ups and prioritize those high-impact tasks effectively? Now, here you go. This is as we mentioned earlier about focusing in counterintuitive ways on higher value and growability as opposed to best customer. And this is kind of the same way. We want to divide our follow-ups by deal stage and urgency. This is like triage in a hospital or something like that. It's not first in, first out. It is most urgent is served first. You go right to the front of the line, right? If you arrive with your arm chopped off versus, hey, I just got bit by, my gerbil. So we want to start by segmenting our tasks based on where the prospect is in the pipeline. So a follow-up for a prospect nearing a close would take precedent over cold leads, and create categories like a hot lead, warm lead, cold leads, or discovery, proposal, closing. So you can quickly see where the high priority prospects need attention. And we talked about A, B, C, D customers. Well, we can think about prioritization for task impact the same way. So, we have low impact. A, are essential for closing deals or moving prospects significantly closer to a sale. B, tasks are important but less time sensitive. C, tasks might be follow-ups that involve nurturing or information sharing. The system that we want to build keeps your focus on tasks with the greatest impact, reducing the chance of letting a critical opportunity slip. So we want to focus on closing, A, B, C, right? Always be closing. Thank you, Glenn Ross, for that helpful tip. So the CRM systems can help with this. In fact, they almost all do this kind of stuff of having some sort of lead scoring, which is really a great asset for follow-up prioritization. We can look at deal value, segments, campaigns that we're getting support or that have a limited time kind of set of resources, response likelihood. Leads with higher scores receive priority follow-ups and lower scores. Automating nurturing touches until they get to a certain level, and then we reach out to them directly. Data-driven really helps ensure our attention is where it is most effective, right? So categorizing based on urgency and potential impact, we can systematically handle higher volumes of people while ensuring the high prospects or the key prospects receive timely and focused follow-ups. So what's our takeaway here? What is our takeaway? We've come a long way from that tickler card to automated CRM tools, haven't we? The core principles, though, remain the same. It's all about timely, genuine follow-up that builds connections. So here's a challenge for you. Dive into your CRM, set up those automated reminders, start building follow-ups that feel authentic, and automate where you can, personalizing it where it matters. Now, watch your follow-up game soar after that. So what I want to do is I want you to check out Tech Sales 110, go into the blog area, and what you're going to see are some goals for this particular sales hack, and you're going to also see some a 4-week implementation plan. So if you're a subscriber there, you get all of that for free, along with free access to our community. And so check it out and have a super day.